Good morning, everyone. It's really morning now. It's 10:15, and I'm going to show you some dried pieces because I get a lot of questions about them. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do a lot of answering questions. So this is the updated sponsor list as of this morning, 9 o'clock. So I want to thank everyone for donating, sponsoring my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Now, the first one that I had a lot of questions about was this one. And I gotta agree with everyone. This is pretty much the most beautiful one I've made. And as you can see, here is gold. Up here, this whole band of color, that is gold. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on the monitor. Let me get you in a little closer. Here you go. So there's a lot of gold in here. As you can see, up here, this is all gold. This is gold, that's gold. Well, more bronze color. But it's a long one, so I can't really get it on the whole. You can't see it from beginning to end because it's really long. It's 50 centimeters. Someone said something like almost 20 inches long. So I'm pretty pleased with it. Haven't cleaned it yet because it was sold pretty fast, and I'm not going to touch it before it's has been drying for about 2 weeks. Then I'm going to clean it, and then I'm going to varnish it, and then it's off to America. Now, the second one was the pink one I did last week, and as you can see, that's all the gold bronze color. Someone said, why do you use brown? But it wasn't brown. As you can see, it lightened up a little bit, and it really is just a really beautiful gold color. This one's still for sale. This one will still take two to 3 weeks to be fully cured before I can varnish it. Now, I have a lot of questions about people asking why doesn't your paint crack, especially when you have a lot of paint on the canvas. And this is a good example. This was my balloon thingy majingy. As you can see, beautiful cells. This is where I pressed in the balloon, and I'm not sure if you can pick it up, but there's a little dusting of glitter in the parts where I pushed the balloon in the paint. And it was a pretty thick paint that was still on the canvas, as you can see, and it just doesn't crack because of the medium I use, because of the quality of the paint I use. So that pretty much eliminates cracking. If I were to pour it on even thicker, so the paint has to be thicker to stay on there like that, then maybe I would have chances of cracking. Now, this balloon pour, this one is, as you can see, I've varnished it once. It still needs about 2 or 3 coats, but as you can see, it doesn't have any brush strokes, and that's another question I get. I think it just depends on how you put on the varnish. And I've told you guys this a couple of times, but I keep getting new people, new viewers. So what I look for in a brush is that it has long bristles, but they have to be really flexible, because when you put down that last layer, you just want to really just minimize the pressure you put on your brush. So you're just sort of pulling the varnish over it instead of really brushing it on. But this one is also still for sale. Send me an email. I'd like to do that, when I have something for sale, I'll tell you, but it has to be the first person who emails me, because otherwise, I just lose track of all the people who want something. Now, this is one I did a while back. I'm sure you can remember this one because it got a lot of views. As you can see here, a whole different sort of way of putting the paint on the canvas. As you can see here, it has the first varnish layer on it too. It still has to get 2 or 3. This one is still for sale too, so let me know if you want it. As you can see up here, these little pinholes, I've had a lot of questions about those little pinholes. Now, don't get upset if you have, you know, the next day your painting is dried. Don't get upset that you have a couple of those pinholes, because guys, you cannot avoid it. If you have mixed your paint like 2 weeks ago and you don't shake your bottle before you put it in the paint in the cup, you might have a minimal amount of these little pinholes, but they just go with the way we put the paint on the canvas. So you can't really avoid it. Sometimes like this, it's really flat, as you can see, and I am looking for something. Oh yeah, this one. So this one also still for sale. Let me know. Now this one I did, this is also a really big one, as you can see, a 50 by 20. This, if I show to you, like, oh yeah, here you can pick it up. As you can see here, these indentations, when we're working with silicone, sometimes you will just get that. And this also depends on your paint thickness, but you know, it's a really thin line, because we do need a sort of consistency, because we want the cells, then we want it to go flat, but too flat, then the paint is too thin and you don't get the cells or minimal cells. So it's always a balance between the two. Now, if I'll show you up here, see that it's a little bit, it has structure. Don't worry about it, because that is art. And I have so many people that are worrying about this sort of how the paint dries. Here you can see it too. That's normal, because if you hang it on your wall, no one's going to see that. You're not going to come in close, put your nose on the canvas and say, oh, I see a little dent here and there. That's not, you know, how people look at a painting. Usually they will take like 2 steps back and look at the whole painting. And that's about it. So this one too, still for sale, guys. Thank you. The doorbell.